Okay, welcome everybody. We don't have any kind of intro anymore. Canceled StreamYard, so we're just using a bad account or a free account. And now we got a Cricket joining us, so we got that going for us. All right, so let's dig in. We have a description of this video, just what we'll be reading along here. And oh man, that Cricket is really crazy. All right, so thanks for Gizzard for sending folks over. Welcome to anybody who's joining us from Gizzard's chat earlier this afternoon. Steven, go kill that cricket. Go get that cricket. All right, that might have bothered it. So we're looking at the description of this video later on this evening. If I will be posting this on our Patreon and over on Spreadsheets. Sure, what's it called? Whatever that blog thing is called. Oh man, Substack, and then maybe a newsletter. The newsletter takes as long as all of the things put together, so maybe not the newsletter this week. But let's dig in. We're going to be looking at the description of this video. Welcome to anybody that's joining us live. G23 is out there. Kingpin's out there. If you're out there, let us know. All right, so the first thing is to take a look at is Suicide Prevention Saturday. Happens every Saturday afternoon. Brooke Cheney from Connecticut hosts that. Focus on mental health awareness, suicide prevention. The antis continue the narrative that there's all these gun deaths when they include suicides. It's a mouth is really getting to me. It is it's an alternative conversation to have and to be competent and confident to be able to have a conversation about suicide is important and useful. And really, if we're trying to save lives, let's work on that. This is really bothering me today. So next up is Brooke again. Had Charlie on, Riding Shotgun with Charlie, for a conversation about how to get license to carry in Massachusetts. And that was about 45 minutes on Tuesday morning. A collaboration with those two channels, worth checking out. Let's see, then we have a conversation that Brooke had, I think, on Thursday morning. NRA gun safety or USCCA personal protection plan. I didn't watch that one, so I'm not sure what that one's about, but I'm sure it was pretty good. The next one we have in the list is episode 121 of Locked and Loaded Latinos. They go live on Sundays, but they've taken a bit of a break. I'm going to take a moment. It's amazing how much your tongue rubs up against your mouth when you're talking. You never notice it. We'll try this. So they go live. That's not working. They usually go live on Sunday evenings, and they've taken some time off. So episode 121 was a return of that show. Great show, worth listening to. Their audience is growing. They're having more reach with their message. Next up is from Professor Imane, who posted about seeing through the fog of culture of fear. So there's a culture of fear, and seeing through that fog past the bad outcomes with guns. An interesting way to approach the fear and the bigotry that the antis have when it comes to firearms specifically. They'll ignore knives and other dangerous items, of course, to suggest that guns are the only ill or the only reason for violence. Let's see. So then we have Meet the Pressers. I listened to a chunk of this one, but not all of it so far. And since Matt from Meet the Pressers, hold on. Matt with Meet the Pressers was on or went to the Train and Learn event that Kevin Dixie hosted for the third time and the last time in Missouri. That was kind of a get together and an after action with some of the attendees, including our friend Tony Simon. Worth checking out. Meet the Pressers is a good show, and they had a bunch of good people on. Then we have, I guess I put it in here twice, Brooks NRA versus USCCA. Next up is a great conversation that's definitely worth listening to. I think it's almost 2 hours long, and I think it's a motorcycle podcaster, I think. At least it's some kind of like California lifestyle guy who has motorcycles. And he has on Triggerology, which is one of the Instagram channels. He's a firearms instructor in California. Great conversation. He's a Marine and just one of the best advocates out there today in 2023. And you get glimpses of him on Instagram, but this is a long conversation. You really get some insight. Definitely worth that one just checking out. I would put that at the top of the list, but suicides and some of his other efforts are more consistent. But man, that's a great episode. Definitely worth checking out. If there's one thing you're going to listen to from this week, I would highly recommend listening to Triggerology on that conversation, because he's doing an advocacy work times 10, and you can really see it in this conversation, which is sort of a he's a ambassador to guns in some ways. I'm gonna go smash his broom around, try to kill that cricket again. Why don't you over here killing this cricket? You learn your teeth. Yeah, what do I call it? Don't you get the hell out of here, cricket? He's listening to your shit. Get out of here. I got a bunch of ultrasonic bug things. They're working pretty good for mosquitoes. I mean, I got a mosquito bite right now, but I was outside, so I think these ultrasonic things are working for mosquitoes, but I don't think they're working for the crickets very good. And it's hard to say with the cockroaches. All right, so next up is a couple of chats that happen each week. Chris from 740 had a chat on Wednesday. He also had one on Thursday that was pretty good. It's always cool when somebody has a late night chat, give somebody something to do to listen to. You coming inside? You want to come inside? Coming inside? Are you crying? Come in, come in, come in, come in, come on. Come on, come inside, come on. She has a tiny little thing to jump over. She won't do it, so I have to force her to come inside, and she's going to come inside. No, she's not happy because she's inside, but she's seeing what's going on. All right, so all kinds of excitement here. Hillbilly Up is out there. Good evening. All right, so trying hard not to. I'm not supposed to be sucking on my mouth, so give me a second. Turns out you suck a lot when you're talking. So I'm trying not to do that. I just did it. All right, so Chris from 740 had a chat on. He also had one on Thursday. Gizzard just had his chat. Number 223 just ended. And it's the birthday of a kitten, George, who is not a big fat jerk like this dog over here. Let's see, we had the overnight on Saturday, which means probably not going to see an overnight this week. It's a bummer. Then we have a Just Because chat. That was Chris's chat yesterday. Let's see, then we have the Tuesday chat with barbecue. I don't remember if I was around for that one. And then Cape Gunworks had a couple of shows, actually a bunch of shows this week. Toby from Cape Gunworks has helped taking over for Grace Curley while she's on maternity leave. So he hosted the Tuesday show, and of course the Wednesday show was live this week on YouTube. And then on Friday they hosted the dude from, I can't think of his name, the Howie, whatever Howie's name is. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, they hosted the Howie show and the Grace Curley show at Cape Gunworks all day today. So that was a long stream. A lot more political, less guns, but more political. So interesting. Well, let's see. Then we have some of the military podcasts I listen to. I like to talk about those. I was listening to the one from, let's see, that is Combat Story, talking to Mike Vickers. I might have mentioned this one last week, but it's worth listening to for sure. Very exciting career, and explains it well and has a good conversation style. I was just listening to this conclusion on Mike Ritland's podcast with the police officer from Seattle. What was it? The Seattle, some type of police officer in Seattle who, during the bullshit a couple years ago, in uniform, kind of did an Instagram post saying this is all a bunch of BS. He ended up, they asked him to quit, or not to quit, but to take down the post, and instead he quit and got a lot of notoriety from that. It was a very viral video, and it was a two-hour interview, so two-parter, very long interview, definitely worth listening to. The guy was SEAL, then he was a cop, and then he was a marshal, and then he was the Seattle, what is it? It's like the Seattle docks or shore, some kind of police that's specific to the shoreline in Seattle. And Howie Carr, thank you. So that's definitely an interesting interview, worth listening to. And guy has a great perspective, great focus. And let's see, there was other ones this week. There was something on Team House. I was just listening to Team House now. They had a guy on who's a ranger, and then he was in some kind, I'm still listening to it, so I'll have to go back and listen to it again, but some kind of elite ranger unit that I've never heard of before. Pretty interesting. And then I found a couple of channels. I mentioned one last week that who sent them in? Jay Monty sent them in about the Lorson and some other one from the Saturday Night Special, or Ring of Fire Saturday Night Specials. But because I go out and look at gun history stuff on the internet, YouTube fed me one of my old subscribers, or a channel I've been subscribed to for a long time, called the History Collectors Forum. And I made a post this week with a bunch of theirs. I've been watching a bunch of their videos again, like I've watched them before, but they do very good. It's the New Jersey Gun Collectors Club, and they, for years, would videotape their presentations to each other. So the club would get together, bring all their collections together and explain them to each other, and then they videoed that and post them on YouTube. They're a lot of fun to listen to. Guys that were doing there, living it, lived through it, bought the things at the different places, so really can tell you a lot about the the history and the chronology, I think, of the different guns that they're focusing on, or the pieces of kit, or the equipment, or whatever it happens to be. They do a lot of interesting stuff. So I did make a Substack about that. There's a Patreon post about that. Let's see, and then I think at the end, and then because of that, I posted the one here about the SKS. Pretty interesting. I think it's like 5 years. It's interesting video. It's about probably half an hour long usually, and most of their videos are about 20 minutes to half an hour. And they go through this guy's collection of SKSs, which is large and includes most of the different countries that they've imported from, as well as some bringbacks, some stuff that people had brought back from Vietnam. And great info. Ended up buying a book because of it. All right, and then Clover and I do a show on Tuesdays. I posted a link to that. This week we talked about if the Second Amendment message. So in other words, what the Second Amendment protects, not the guns themselves, but the rights that the Second Amendment protects. If that message is still important in 2023, I think we both believe it is. We talked about that a little bit. This week, I forget what the topic is. I don't think there is one, so I'll have to go figure that out. If you have an idea, of course, let us know. So that's the week in what I was able to check out with Firearms this week. We'll be doing some extra things in the future, some more things in the future to try to keep up with this. But for now, this is what we've got this week. We appreciate everybody joining us live. There wasn't a bunch of people doing a lot of stuff out there, but Kingpin was out there, G23 and Hillbilly were out there, it looks like. All right, if you're out there in the future, let us know, and we'll be back to pick you up later. I don't have any more, I'm not paying for StreamYard anymore, so we're doing this on the free account. I don't have any of the intros and outros. Those are all tied up in the paid account. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it.